Alright, we're going to kick off the new year by comparing the two new generation type team superheroes. And no, it is not Spider-Man. There's a CW DC show, Stargirl. If you have no idea what that is, it is a DC show that is a part of the Arrowverse. Then we have the Marvel show called Ms.Marvel on Disney Plus, and I'm assuming that you know Ms.Marvel is. So, which of these shows are superior? Well, we're about to find out with the battle crash. Alright, the story in the Stargirl series, it's about a group of superheroes called the JSA has all died saving the world, and then we followed the main character, Courtney Whitmore. She is a bratty teenager who grew up without a father, and she is not happy to have a stepdad. Well, she believed that Starman might be her father, but in reality, he is actually not. In fact, her real biological father is actually an a-hole. Well, anyway, Courtney Whitmore discovered a cosmic staff and also discovered her stepdad was a superhero, and just like that, she became Stargirl. Well, as for the story in the Ms.Marvel show, well, it absurdly reminded me of the story of Spider-Man Homecoming. Well, except it is worse. We followed the main character, Kamala Khan, and she is a huge Captain Marvel fangirl that discovered the power bracelet, or whatever this thing was. She put it on, she gets powers, and just like that, she became a superhero and also became a fugitive. Yeah, the plot in both of these shows are pretty simple. But the difference is that Stargirl leans into emotional core and character's purpose through and through, and even the newer seasons. The storyline in Ms.Marvel was pretty bad, in my opinion. The show was basically about Kamala being on a run by the wall the whole time, while introducing the lore of the power bracelet that Ms.Marvel had, and adding more uninteresting subplot to fit in each episode, and that is kind of a mess. Okay, let's talk about the heroes in both of these shows. Well, Courtney Whitmore, she's a bit bratty, but she's also friendly, and she sees the good in people, especially villains, and I think that would make Stargirl a unique superhero. Well, as for Ms.Marvel, well, I enjoyed her snarky personality, but it seems there's nothing else interesting about her. Yeah, Kamala Khan is just one of these main characters that I did not care for. Well, right after I watched the Marvels, well, I thought Kamala was decently passable, but we're talking about the time that I didn't like her, so the movie doesn't count, unfortunately. So at the end of the day, it felt like I'm more into Stargirl's character than I am into Ms.Marvel's character, and the story of the Stargirl show was underrated and memorable. Well, even I finished watching Ms.Marvel, I have forgotten every single important stuff from the series, and that is not a good sign. Oh, and don't get me started with the forgettable side characters that was in this show. Okay, on that note, the show with the superior story and title character is Stargirl. Okay, the characters from Stargirl, we have Rick Tyler as the Hourman, Yolanda as Wildcat, Beth as Hourman, Pat Dugan as Stripe, Simon Grundy, Sydney Berman as the Shiv, Artemis Croc, and the rest. Once more, well, I gotta say, the characters were great. with their different personality and how they work together with Stargirl. And I gotta say, Sydney Berman was my favorite character of this show, and it's probably because she is an anti-hero in season 3, and I had a thing for anti-heroes because I was one, because me personally, I'm more of an anti-hero type, and that's just my whole personality. But not only Shiv is good and evil, she had a pretty funny sassy attitude towards the heroes and an understandable backstory. Well, as for the characters from Ms. Marvel, well, I have no idea who they are and what their name was, and that's how forgettable the side characters were. Well, Stargirl characters are far more memorable than Ms. Marvel's, and the heck, I even remembered the supportive characters and all that. When Stargirl had a big team up with her friends against the ISA during the climax of the first season, well, to me, it felt like the first Avengers movie from 2012 all over again. Well, here in Ms. Marvel's, the characters were just comedic, and that doesn't do anything really. Well, as for the title main character's ability, well, Ms. Marvel has the power bracelet where she can just dress her arms, well, just like the wannabe Mr. Fantastic, and it has cosmic energy. Well, Stargirl has the cosmic staff, and it also had cosmic energy. She can just do gymnastic move and all that, and the staff has personality, and that makes it one of the characters in the show. So yeah, in conclusion, Stargirl has better characters that are entertaining, and I think Stargirl slightly have better powers, and this is why I'm easily going to give this round to DC Stargirl. Okay, well, Stargirl has many main villains in this show, but I'm just going to say that Stargirl's season 1 villain was Brainwave, and then the second season was Eclipso, a Pennywise level villain, and now season 3, Icicle. All 3 of these villains are Fred-ing, and they made a great impression. Well, although I think Brainwave was a little bit wasted in the first season. In the very first episode, he lost against Stargirl by getting a seizure when she put the staff into his face, and when he comes back for the climax, he just got killed by the new Wildcat. But with that being said, the Stargirl villains were great. Well, as for the Marvels, well, I am kind of confused of which are the real villains of this series, and I certainly don't remember if they're actually the villains. First, we have these people that go after these HN power bracelet lever, and then we have the FBI leader and some crap like this. Yeah, I guess I'm going to give this round to Stargirl yet again, because not even Ms. Marvel has some great and memorable villains to compare to Stargirl. Okay, overall, Stargirl was by far the best Arrowverse show, in my opinion. It has the emotional depth, the action was pretty fun, and the heck, it even got better in season 2 and 3, and I just recently got a Stargirl comic book, and that's how much of an impact the Stargirl character had on me. Well, Ms. Marvel was a pretty fun show too, but compared to Stargirl, it felt like an afterthought. And I did find myself to appreciate Stargirl, even though it is not DC's biggest characters. Well, I hope that James Gunn can do something about making a Stargirl movie. I would definitely appreciate it. And I would be happy about that. Okay, it's time for the scores. Ms. Marvel gets a 6 out of 10, and Stargirl gets a 9. Okay, the reason why Stargirl is not a 10 out of 10, because the only criticism that I had with this show is Mike Dugan and Hakeem being with Sydney Berman as an uninteresting subplot of season 3, and I think that kills and underwhelmed the climax for me. But so yeah, Ms. Marvel is maybe cool in a way, but Stargirl was the most interesting female superhero character that I ever discovered. If you've never seen the Stargirl series before, then I would highly recommend it.